Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and with the news of Overwatch 2 this week having Genji nerfs, Overwatch League tokens not showing up for people, and very ironically, May returning into Overwatch 2, a lot of people glazed over what I thought would have been the biggest story, and that is Overwatch 2 might not be playable by players in mainland China in 2023. And clearly a big reason why people just glossed over this story is, well, I'm not a player in China. Why would I care if Overwatch 2 isn't playable in China if I live here in Ohio in the United States? And first of all, that's sucks that you live in Ohio, but second of all, fair, that's a fair reason why you wouldn't really dig into this story, but there's still a reason why I make this video. Obviously, I'm still a news channel. I like to make news videos along with my funny haha videos, but the other reason is because this will still impact you as a Western player living in Ohio because of the domino effect that this will have. So first and foremost, let's just catch you up to speed because the situation is kind of confusing, but once you actually understand the context, it'll be very easy to understand why this is a big deal and why it affects you. So on November 16th, Blizzard posted a blog post on their investor section on their website saying that Blizzard Entertainment announced today that it will be suspending most Blizzard game services in mainland China due to the expiration of the current licensing agreement with NetEase on January 23rd, 2023, so basically in 2 months. And this agreement included games like World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, basically every Blizzard game, which includes Overwatch. And the rest of the blog post just talked about how these two companies had a great 14-year relationship, but now that's ending, and how Season 2 for Overwatch 2 is basically going to be the last season for the Chinese market, and after that, that's still up in the air. And while I'd love to talk more about the details of how this affects you, the Chinese audience, nobody from China is watching me because, well, YouTube isn't available in China. So now I'm only left to talking to my audience that watches here on YouTube. So how does this affect you, the person that's living in Ohio? Well, the reason why this is a big deal and why you should care is that Blizzard ultimately lost what is probably their biggest revenue stream. Now, I don't have the financials to back up that statement, but I do know this for a fact, is that the Chinese market is one of the biggest markets for so many Western companies. So I don't think it's hard for someone to put two and two together, is that when you lose out on a huge market like the Chinese market, that means that you're missing out on so much revenue potential, meaning that you're not able to pay for employees, meaning that you're not able to pay for rent space, meaning that you're not able to pay for things that a basic business needs to operate. And while lots of people forget that Blizzard is a business that has employees, Blizzard needs to pay for these people to make the content that you wish for. This includes skins, this includes event, this includes heroes, maps, and this includes the PvE version of Overwatch 2. Now, obviously, Blizzard isn't solely relying on the Chinese market. If that was the case, we'd be dead tomorrow. No, they obviously have the United States market, the European market, they have the rest of the world. And Blizzard knows this, like they've been around for a long time. They know they can't put all their eggs and rely on the Chinese market for their only revenue stream because they know it only takes one tweet to ruin that whole entire relationship. But ultimately, that's why you should care, is that when Blizzard loses out on that revenue stream, while it's a very regulated and very touchy subject, and I'm being very careful with how I make this video because I don't want to be missing tomorrow, that means that they're no longer making that money to be able to pay for the employees to make this free content. That, yeah, short term, they won't be affected. Like, we'll be okay, but long term, I don't know, really, anything could happen. We might see an increase in skin prices, or we might see a heavy price tag on PvE for Overwatch 2, or maybe they're gonna have to heavily rely on their Microsoft deal to be able to fund some of these projects, or maybe lack of projects. That's all just speculation. Again, I don't have the numbers, I don't have the business, but what I do know is what's being presented in a very public and doesn't seem that scared post from Blizzard. But this is the part where I put out the fire that I admittedly just kind of started saying, oh, the end is near for Overwatch 2, because once again, Blizzard didn't do anything wrong to have to like sever their relationship with the Chinese market. They just ended their relationship with the publisher, with NetEase. See, for those that don't know, NetEase is obviously a video game publishing company for mainland China, and while there's lots of companies that could do it themselves, Blizzard being one of them, Nintendo and Sony Entertainment, they have to go through a company like NetEase because China, as most of us know, they're very strict with ensuring that the content being brought over from Western companies like Blizzard matches the vision of the Chinese people. I'm sugarcoating it because I don't want to say anything wrong on this admittedly touchy subject. The relationship with NetEase and Blizzard is done as terms of a contract, but that doesn't mean Blizzard can't sign another contract with another video game publisher, and that's exactly what I think is going to happen, because while NetEase is, I think, the second biggest publishing company in China, there is another another big one, and we all probably have heard of it beforehand, Tencent. Now, Tencent is a tech company that owns a lot of apps and entertainment and also games in the Chinese market. Have you guys ever heard of the game called League of Legends? No? Well, what about Valorant? Those two games are obviously made by the developers Riot Games, who is owned by Tencent. But Tencent also owns a little game called Call of Duty Mobile. And who is Call of Duty Mobile made by? That's right, Activision Blizzard. So I think what's going to happen is that they're probably going to go through the company that they already have an established relationship with through the Call of Duty division, that being Tencent, and just distribute their games through there. That, of course, being World of Warcraft, Hearthstone, Diablo, StarCraft, and what we all care about, Overwatch. And when I first saw this blog post, I was obviously surprised by it because, well, obviously you need that relationship to be able to access the Chinese market, but also they just seemed very open and public, but also it just seems very short-sighted. Like, yep, it's going to be ending in 2 months. Players in the Chinese market are not going to be able to play our game in 2 months, and that just doesn't seem like very smart of Blizzard to do if they wouldn't have a plan established. Like, it just doesn't make sense, and it's something that my little brain can't wrap my head around, mainly just because I'm so stupid, but I can even just use my last 2 brain cells to think about even something like the Overwatch League, where they literally have 4 established teams, the Hunters, Spark, Charge, and the Dragons, and another team that is owned by a Chinese company, that being the LA Valiant. And unless there's some sort of separate contract made through the Overwatch League and another video game publishing company in China, that ultimately means that the Overwatch League could no longer be broadcast in China. That also means that Chinese players can no longer play in the Overwatch League or try out for the Overwatch League, which there's some Chinese players in the league right now. And this also means teams in the Chinese region at worst have to disband and at best have to suspend operations until a contract is established. And again, I don't know how the operations with the Overwatch League will work, because ultimately what I've come to find out being with an Overwatch League team is that they are very separate from Activision Blizzard. Even though they do work with the same game, they operate very, very separately. But it just surprises me that so much that relied on this contract and there was relationship with China, whether it be Overwatch League teams, players, the player base itself, revenue streams, could just all go away in 2 months and there not be a replacement. So that's what I'm thinking is going to happen, is that they're going to reestablish a contract either with Tencent or some other company, or maybe they can make some deal happen with NetEase, because when I'm looking at this, they use language like the 2 parties have not reached a deal to renew their agreements that is consistent with Blizzard's operating principles and commitments to players and employees, and the agreements are set to expire in January 2023. So what that basically says is that Blizzard was the one that broke up with their girl. They said, nah, boo, I'm gonna be going. And obviously that's a good PR move by Blizzard, because obviously they want to seem like the ones that end the relationship. No, stockholders, no, we're the ones that stop the relationship with NetEase, because we're gonna find another boo to do our thing with in China. Another boo being something like Tencent or any other video game publishing company. And again, that's something that a company would obviously do just to appease to their stockholders, because they don't want to cause chaos saying, oh no, we're no longer able to have that revenue stream. The negotiation admittedly is still going on with NetEase, but I think making that preemptive post saying that, nope, we're no longer doing it, I think they're pretty set in stone to not make that relationship with NetEase continue moving forward and to look somewhere else. And what I doubt, like, I really doubt this isn't going to happen, but Blizzard might not want to try to distribute their games in China because they have a vision that it doesn't really align with the Chinese market and the Chinese government. I kind of highly doubt that is the reason why I really didn't talk about it in this video, and could be a possible reason why the relationship with NetEase ended, is because they don't really strike me as a company, especially for the past couple of years, that is extremely forward-thinking, is going to be revolutionizing the video game industry with so many open-minded projects. They're still a multi-billion-dollar company who, like, yes, they do make amazing games and have so many artists and developers and engineers that create marvelous pieces, Overwatch being one of them, but at the end of the day, and it sucks to say this, they are still a multi-billion-dollar company whose goals are to make another multi-billion in the next couple of years. They're going to try to establish that relationship with a video game publisher in China because they know that's where a lot of money is at. And as a business, like, who can really blame them? And a lot of people are, because, well, no longer are they able to just be this freely operating company. If you play in China's sandbox, you gotta play with China's rules, and that's what happens when you do make deals like this. That's my video for today. Admittedly, a very weird video that I don't really talk about a lot because a lot of time I just make funny haha videos and memes and tip videos, but never about business. But you guys know I studied business in college, and anytime I get to talk about business or any relationship related to Overwatch, I like to do because, well, it will affect you eventually. And I feel like this is something that we all should at least be informed about, and just know moving forward that this could be a reason why things may suck for the future, but also may be good. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But at least in this short time, this won't affect you. You won't have to worry about it, but down the road, it might. Just might. So we'll have to see what happens in the future. But anyway, guys, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. More Overwatch 2 videos to come, and bye.